We're looking at issues around the economy. And of course, in an economy where many have given up on luxury, of course, the current rise in price of food items and other goods and services is becoming a national chaos. It's becoming a major concern for many Nigerians who are struggling on a daily basis to feed or even to survive since the reforms of this government began. Of course, a lot is being said with regards to planning for the future of Nigeria, but Nigerians are saying that they need to survive today for them to see tomorrow. Let's look at that topic. We're looking at issues around street economies with focus on prices of foodstuff, goods and services in public place. And my guest joins me in the studio, Hajia Suwaiba Muhammad Dankabo, the Deputy Country Director and Director of Programs, Actionaid Nigeria. Glad to have you on Business Daily.
Good afternoon.
Finally, we are able to bring you here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, ma. Let's look at issues with the economy. A lot has been done with regards to ongoing reform by the government, but Nigerians are not finding it funny. I'm sure you relate with a lot of Nigerians. What do you think should be done for us to have at least an ease to the current economic reality we are facing?
Thank you very much. And the fact still remains that it's only the person who survived that will see an improvement or any transformation. So, like Nigerians says, they need to survive, and what we are seeing in the market recently is the most difficult period. People are complaining very, very bitterly. The foods are not affordable. If you look at the price index on the priority list of every Nigerian now is the survival. Then they have cut down, a lot of pleasure and luxuries. Some are going on 101 or not bothering about 3 daily time, the ration of the day. So what needs to be done, like I say, is price control. But for even government to think about the price control, we need to put all the economic factors into play. Price is a factor of production, is a factor of demand, is a factor of capital. So to what extent is business made easy for every Nigerian who is into business, so that there is an enabling environment for the production to thrive? And then on the other hand, control of the prices, that people who go to the market or who the consumers, how their rights are being protected. And so price control needs to come in, both from the side of the producers and comply with the laws, and then the side of the government to protect the consumers. And in this way, we are looking at ensuring that the commodities that go to the market, there's a follow-up, there's surveillance, there is penalties. Going by the laws, we know that there's the Price Control Act, that which was a decree that was set up by the military regime of General Obasanjo, 1977, which was now made into law, and then it was reenacted again, just to be sure that rights of consumers are protected. But this time around, what we are seeing is zero of any of the provision of that law or the act, because people are, going to the market. You see that those areas of the production factors, like transportation, like the raw materials, are no longer in the vicinity of the producer. So there's the challenges in the procurement of those items, getting them, and then when they produce at high cost, then there's a confusion between who produces what. The smaller organizations are at the point of being eliminated. And so that's control in making sure that the rights of even the smaller companies are protected, and then before we even talk about what they will sell. And then so there's a lot of problems. So this control needs to come in, and in the real sense of it, with adequate vigilance and survey, and then the follow-up and continuous management of the system to be sure that the production aspect is protected, and then the consumption aspect is also protected. Those who are in the business are aware. And then when there is a price change that for government to impose, Nigerians need to be carried along. Just yesterday, we're getting a report about the low production of, the low yield experienced by onion farmers. So, okay, how did that come to be? The deterioration of our soil be it by the climate change, be it like by the poverty level, and people are striving to get better production. There is an importation of a very wrong seed that polluted the environment, and then people are now getting, we are suffering. And then what will come is the next thing is that the consumer will pay the price. You and I who go to the market will pay the price, because definitely there's going to be shortage of onion in the market, and then there's going to be...
The price of onions is so high as we speak.
Exactly. It's really short. As at now, it's very costly. It's high. It will now become higher now that the figures are clear on the public domain, that there is low yield in production of the low yield from the production of onions this year for 2025. So it's a challenge already. So definitely we need to see government come in. What happened to our silos? Before, part of the policy is to ensure that there's balance in terms of production and sale. People buy these things, the market and the produce off farmers, and they hoard them. Those who have the money, they buy and hoard. So the merchants they are playing their games, and then the people who are the low producers are suffering, and then the people who are in the market, especially the poor and excluded people. And if you look at it, also affecting Nigerians at different levels. In Abuja here, for instance, what you buy in Abuja at 150,000 maybe, or let's say 10,000, go to the state, maybe you'll get it at 7,000, 8,000. But if you go to places where there's crisis, conflict, the price will be twice or double.
Absolutely.
What is leading to that is lack of control. If government understand that people have the right to survive and eat, and for survival, one of the major means of survival is food and health. So there's a provision for the control of the medical, all this aspect that is known that the poor will need for survival, they are protected, but those items are still now being controlled and then sold at discrete prices by people who controls them. So we need to see that kind of awareness, and then we need to have that kind of control. Government needs to come back to it and then have the cushioning effects.
Absolutely.
Cushioning effects, like we have our silos. The food, produce that are of value to the common man must be protected at the point of production, from the storage level, and then as it reaches the market. When government has to, can come in to support the poor, especially the people who are not able to buy these things, especially in view of the current transformation and the reforms that we are getting. Definitely, we know that we are not on equal footing. There are poor people, there are persons with disabilities, and it affects more women and children.
Absolutely.
If the services are very expensive, you go to the government public services, you are not able to get them. So you are pushed back to the market to go and buy. Take, for instance, medical services. Rural areas are far away from the services. You go, the primary healthcare services are not running. You go there, if you are lucky to see any doctor, you have to go to the pharmacies or chemists, patent medical stores to buy these drugs. God help you if they are genuine.
Are even substandard.
Exactly. God help you if they are genuine. And then you buy at a very expensive price. So all the effort you are putting in your farm to produce is that you are getting expensive services at this end. The poverty level is increasing. That is our concern. And then people are on and on continuously pushed into the cycle of poverty. And then so definitely there's something that needs to be urgently attract the government urgent attention. Go to the filling stations. There's the competition we are supposed to see. We know that the price is supposed to be controlled by government, but with the increased production, it's supposed to be low.
Absolutely.
But what we don't see is that it's fluctuating, whether because of inflation, whether because of lack of competition, whether because of interest of people who are in the business, maybe those who are in the charged with the responsibility of control are also part of the business. It's difficult.
So
there's conflict of interest.
Exactly.
Exactly.
It's a whole lot to do.
Yeah.
You talk about price control. In what way do you think this should be done? We have state, we have local government, of course, we have the federal level. If you want to enforce control, maybe at state or local government level, what kind of method do you think it should be deployed especially by state or local government? A lot of people are saying that we put so much burden on the federal government.
If you study the law, that the Price Control Act or law, and the policy for Nigeria, if you see that there is a structure. Our challenge is not that we don't have the policies, but implementation. There is a structure that decentralize this from the national to the state and to the local level. There are committees that are charged with responsibilities of, one, determining the prices based on the certain parameters. What are the challenges that people are facing? How, the consumers now. Consumer include people who are tenants, because the capital, those issues where prices are challenging include rent, include the cost of food, include cost of medical and so on. With the reform, there's supposed to be a match. What are we reforming? What is the implication? So that survey and consultation needs to happen. If this happens, what is the implication on the lives of people?
Exactly.
What people?
It does seem that the government did not consider the implications of the reform.
So, and that will only come through quality consultation with people to understand that basically these are the areas that will be more affected. And then they set and then ensure that there are cushioning effects. There are enablers to support the producers or the capital investments, those who are investing. And then now, how is the poor and how are the citizens going to be benefiting from this and create a balance? Two things. There are the price floors and then the ceilings. Those floors, if set, it means prices cannot go below the level that is being picked. So it's to say, okay, what is the common consumption is rice. For instance, people consume rice as a staple food, and then pick the price of rice at a certain percentage and ensure that the producers are not suffering. And so government put that policy. So wherever you go, you purchase rice at that price. It will not go low, but then also it's to protect the rights of the lower producers. Otherwise, the companies can put them out of business. Then the ceiling, on the other hand, government will have a ceiling that prices cannot go above this. So in between, there is a provision for little adjustment of those who are charged multiple taxation, those who have to transport from this level to this level. So in between, you have the liberty to adjust based on your experience, but you are not selling below the price so that you don't go out of business, but also based on the ceiling, not above the price that it will be uncomfortable for the citizens to survive, which is the situation we find ourselves today. Exactly. 1977, when this law was put in place, and then the enactment is, I think, 1989 or something. The cost of rice, a bag of rice, was like 20,000 or something like that. Now it's over 100,000. How can the poor survive? That's our problem.
It's indeed a very ridiculous one. And in the midst of this high cost of living, government is still yet to implement the new minimum wage. Many federal government workers are still on the old minimum wage. What do you think government should do? Because there seems to be a delay when it comes to, implementing programs for public, for the general public. But when it comes to, the government cycle, that seems to accelerate the implementation.
There is delay in the implementation of minimum wage. There is increase in the introduction of taxes, VAT, that affects the individuals.
Absolutely.
We are not productive. Yes, we are supposed to be tapped to squeeze to pay government taxes. We pay taxes through our noses. And the fact is that Nigeria is not industrializing. We are not minding the sources of income of people, but we are charged, we are busy that focusing on the one single major source of revenue as tax. And the taxes are even, leaving the people that are supposed to pay the taxes. The companies are giving tax holidays, and then the people are squeezed to pay by force, because from your salary, from my salary, is taken.
Absolutely.
From the poor, no matter how difficult the person is finding their lives, they go to the patient medicine store, they pay VAT. And so people, there's no commensurate, equilibrium between the payment of minimum wage. And I'm not even sure if this minimum wage, even if paid, will take the person's home because
Absolutely.
of the amount
the value
of taxes.
has been eroded.
Value has been eroded, tax imposed on the lives of people. We are suffering, and then there's no infrastructure. You get the minimum wage, you go to hospital, you pay out of your once you go to the market to buy, how many measures of rice is gone, noodles of gari is gone, and then the number of families are increasing. School fees is not here, and then there are so many challenges. Transportation is high, and so where will the poor go to?
It's just like it's a very big question there you ask, and the government say we should let the poor breathe, but the poor are indeed be suffocated.
Somebody asked us that, are we sure very soon the government will not start asking us to pay for the air that we breathe? This is natural, but definitely. But come to think of it, if you are one of those who can afford air condition, then definitely you are paying, because the tariff of electricity tells the fact that you put on one AC, you know how much you're going to pay. How you know the value of that electricity you have.
Absolutely. Ajia, before we go, I think we're going to bring you here again with regards to this issue of tax reform bills. I want to get your take on the tax reform bill. There seems to be a lot of controversy. At the last meeting, let's say the governors and of course the federal government have agreed to reach a common ground. What is your take with regards to tax reform bill?
My concern is the fact that those issues, or those decisions are made bilaterally. They just take decisions without necessary consultation. I know that it has been on the public domain. People have looked at it. My own take is the fact that where revenue is prioritized, tax is prioritized, bring a commensurate businesses and industries and services that will help the people to recoup. If I don't have a continuous and clear source of income, I'm not comfortable. I don't have enough to eat. Definitely, if I'm asked to pay any tax, and I think the major thing there is about they are focusing on the government. It's about the dividend around the liberty, what do you call
derivation.
It? Derivation, and so that is not the interest of the common man. Our interest is to what extent government is enterprising. What is this increased, resource generation formulas they want to put? What is the diversification? To what extent is the states friendly for the people in terms of security, in terms of safety? Yes, incomes. How much have the government spent? What is the level of impact in the lives of people? We ask critical questions. If a government has received 13 trillion, what has this 13 trillion translated into? Is it flyover, or is this capital, services, gender responsive services, public service that is supposed to go into improving the lives of people? That's the question.
Yes, absolutely. That is quite a big question there you ask, Hajia. I must thank you for your time. Time is always short when you have a lot to talk about. I'm sure you come back again on this program, and of course we'll discuss more. Hajia Suwaiba Muhammad Dankabo is the Deputy Country Director and of course Director of Programs at Actionaid Nigeria. Most thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
With that is a wrap on the show today. We'll be back again tomorrow. I am Yusuf Akogu.